Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
We are the Breakfast Club. Let's get in some front page news. What's up, Morgan?
Good morning. How we feeling on a Thursday?
Less black and highly favored.
Indeed, because there is definitely devastating news breaking out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. 2 children are dead and 17 others are wounded. 14 children and 3 parishioners in their 80s are wounded after a Catholic school shooting in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Now, Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara provided details about the victims and identified the shooter as 23-year-old Robin Westman, who shot through the church stained glass window of the Annunciation Church. I will disclaim that even listening to this account from the police chief is a little bit difficult. So let's hear more from Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara.
2 were young children, ages 8 and 10, that were sitting in the pews at Mass when they were shot and killed. They were pronounced deceased on the scene. There were another 14 children between the ages of 6 and 15 that were injured by gunfire. There were also 3 adults in their 80s that were parishioners here attending Mass that were also shot in this incident. The coward that shot these victims took his own life in the rear of the church. That coward has been identified as 23-year-old Robin Westman. No prior criminal history. As to the weapons used to perpetrate this horrific attack, there was a rifle, a shotgun, and a pistol. All 3 had been lawfully purchased by the shooter.
Yeah, so as mentioned in the audio, the shooter died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. O'Hara says they have discovered a about 900-page manifesto left behind by Westman, who also posted that manifesto on YouTube. And also in other posted videos, Westman expressed hate against Catholics, Black people, and Jewish people. The FBI is investigating this shooting as an act of domestic terrorism and a hate crime targeting Catholics. All of the injured, all of those who are injured are expected to survive, so that's good news. During a press conference, Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey called for the violence to stop. He also spoke with MSNBC yesterday, calling for gun reform following that mass shooting. He spoke about how easy it is for the suspect to get a gun and compared the U.S. to other countries who have taken action on gun violence. Let's take a listen to Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey.
We're not talking about your father's hunting rifle. We're talking about people that have gotten guns that seemingly, in this case, legally, that obviously have a whole ton of mental health issues. You're not right in the head if you're going to a church to shoot it up.
Yeah, so Minnesota governor, it's devastating. It's extremely heartbreaking. And I mean, these are the type of stories that it makes it hard to do my job, because it's like, sheesh, you're in church, you're praying, the kids are praying. I mean, you think it's one of the safest places in the world. But Minnesota Governor Tim Walz called the shooting evil and said that he has spoken with President Trump, who offered full federal assistance, which I think is absolutely amazing, because think about it, just months ago, they were at each other's necks on the campaign trail. But, it shouldn't take these types of incidents for elected officials to get along. But I'm not going to get too much into that. The FBI is investigating the shooting, as I mentioned, as an act of domestic terrorism and a hate crime targeting Catholics. So
we will never get gun reform in this country because of the gun lobby's grip on politicians. Okay, the NRA and other gun lobbyists have decades of political infrastructure and donating money to candidates, and they don't just donate money to candidates; they mobilize voters and intimidate politicians who step out of line and dare go against any type of actual gun reform.
Pushback. Yeah, I was wondering, do they have a department in the federal government where all they do is look online and look at people and look at these threats and look at things like that? Because if he was so open about how he felt online and was still able to purchase guns legally, like, I feel like that's something that we're missing out. And maybe there is a division, but if so, it has to be a bigger division, because we hear these stories all the time. We hear these stories of these people that's doing mass shootings or committing these crimes, and they tell before they do it. It's not like it's a surprise. When people hear these stories, they be like, oh, I knew it was him because he's been talking about this for years. And we don't stop it. We still allow him to buy not 1 pistol, but 3 pistols, or 2 pistols in a machine gun or whatever he bought, or a rifle. But it's just very sad. And rest in peace and condolences to any one of those family members and friends. It's just so effing sad.
We all know what we need to do in regards to gun reform, but these gun lobbyists control the politicians. That's really that simple.
All right, well, that's front page news. Yes.
Yeah, I'll stick around. We'll stick around for 7. We've got more.
All
Just
right.
wait.
Everybody else, get it
So
off your
sad,
chest.
man.
Phone lines are wide open. 800-585-1051 if you need to vent.
But rest in peace to those kids, and I'm sending healing energy to the families because it's just sad to watch young people lose their lives because adults can't get it together.
Correct.
That's really because adults choose not to do the right thing.
Yeah.
And now those two kids lost their lives.
Yeah. And countless others are wounded. And oh, my gosh. All right. Well, call us up right now. Get it off your chest. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning. We are The Breakfast Club. Let's get back to some front page news. What's up, Morgan?
Hey. All right, so let's get back into it. So Washington, D.C. may not see any immediate impact from President Trump's call for greater use of the death penalty. He made those remarks for anyone committing murder in the nation's capital. The D.C. Council abolished the death penalty in the district in 1981, and voters rejected a death penalty referendum in 1992. Now, analysts say that this will prevent death penalty prosecutions in the D.C. Superior Court unless Congress intervenes. Now, prosecutors could also seek death sentences in federal court, and U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro says she will follow the president's directive when possible, but also admitted that it could be difficult to convince D.C. juries to convict defendants who face the death penalty. Meanwhile, more is developing in President Trump's crime crackdown in the nation's capital. Washington, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser says a federal surge in law enforcement has lowered crime, but she criticized the deployment of masked ICE agents and National Guard troops from out of state. Let's take a listen to D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser.
This is what we think in just a couple of weeks of experience has worked. Having more federal law enforcement officers on the street. We know that we have had fewer gun crimes, fewer homicides, and we have experienced an extreme reduction in carjackings. We know having masked ICE agents in the community has not worked, and National Guards from other states has not been an efficient use of those resources.
So Mayor Bowser went on to say that carjackings are down 87%, and she did, as said in the audio, admit that some support for MPD, which is DC's police department, Metropolitan Police Department, the support that the federal agents come in supporting the police department is a good thing. But she has also expressed that there is concern. The city's residents saying that they are living in fear. She did say she had a conversation with President Trump on Wednesday, but did not elaborate about what they spoke about. In other news, the Trump administration is moving to take over Union Station in Washington, D.C., which is the train station, major transportation hub. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy made the announcement and said the station has fallen into disrepair and D.C. should be the example. Let's take a listen to Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy.
We're going to take it back, and we're going to drive out the homelessness, we're going to drive out the crime, and we are going to, I think, bring in more retailers, I think more customers. It should be beautiful, and the president wants a beautiful capital, I want a beautiful capital, and so this plan is going to make Union Station represent the president's vision of what America can and should look like.
Duffy went on to say they will help make the city safe and beautiful at a fraction of the cost by reclaiming management of the station. And it's the latest move by the White House as part of President Trump's crime crackdown in D.C. And for my last story, I absolutely love this for all of the things that have been going on with Washington, D.C. That man who threw the sandwich at the federal agent, he is reportedly not being indicted by a grand jury. That's according to the New York Times. The U.S. Attorney's Office in Washington, D.C. has sought an indictment in a felony assault case. Sean Dunn, who is seen on video striking the officer in the chest with that Subway sandwich after saying they're not wanted in D.C., he admitted to the incident after he was arrested. Y'all saw him on that viral video where he hit the officer with the sandwich and then ran off. But yes. Of course, caught later. Sean Dunn, he was arrested in that incident. And of course, he was fired from his job also at the Justice Department following the incident. But if you have if you have been in D.C. since this whole situation, you have seen there's been like a poster. He's being basically held a local hero. I'm not exactly sure why per se, but I guess it's just one of those standing up against the man type things. But there's posters, there's visuals, there's all these different things posted around the city that show him literally masked up and throwing the sandwich towards towards an officer. But yeah,
Girl, what kind of sandwich was it? Did we get to that?
we never found out the exact type of sandwich, if it was turkey on rye or if we, it was a sub. So, we never found out if it was, tuna, a turkey, or, whatever the case is, roast beef, whatever. But it was a Subway sandwich because it was standing right outside of Subway. So, Subway, y'all should take that and run with it. But I'm not going to get too much into that. That's your front page news. Y'all can follow me on socials at Morgan Media. And for more news coverage, follow at Black Information Network. Download the free iHeartRadio app and visit us at binnews.com. Just also extra note that I will be out tomorrow, and I'm going to leave you in the more than capable hands of my fellow BIN anchor, Mimi Brown. So
nice. Thank you, girl.
Thank you, Morgan.
All right, y'all. Have a good one.
Have a great vacation.
Wake that ass up.
In the morning.
The Breakfast Club.